Good evening. I'd like to call to order the regular scheduled meeting Tuesday, February 20th, Town of Haymarket Planning Commission meeting. Roll call, please.
Singla,
Aye.
Yanang,
Here.
Hallett,
Here.
Gonzalez,
Present.
Young.
Here.
All right. Could we all please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, and next on the agenda, citizens' time. Do I have anybody in the audience that does not have, or part of the agenda, that would like to talk? Okay, closing citizens' time. Next, minute approval for the regular scheduled meeting, November 13th. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes?
So moved.
Okay, do I have a second?
Second.
Would all in favor say aye?
Aye. Aye.
Okay. Minutes have been approved unanimously. Okay, next on the agenda is the draft annual report.
Yes, good evening, Commission. I have provided for you, separate from your existing agenda, an updated draft of the annual Planning Commission review with less red lines, more up-to-date information on it. The purpose of this is just a way of internally tracking what we have done as a commission. There's no need for any resolution of approval or motions of approval for that kind of thing. The goal of it is just to track what we have done and make sure that we have accurate information that can be passed down in case for future use and for future reference. So if there are any particular updates that the commission sees that we must make on this, now's the time to discuss it. I will note that on the back side of the page under 1 mile notices, which is something we're also discussing later in this meeting today, the goal is to bring any 1 mile or any Prince William County developments that happen within 1 mile of our jurisdiction to you all for the sake of transparency between Haymarket and Prince William County. In this particular 1 mile notice that you have on here, time was the essence to provide town comments. Moving forward, I will present any more 1 mile reviews to the commission.
I don't see any other. Any thoughts?
Well, just one item, Tom, if you could, from our last name, it's with a Z at the end, not an S.
Apologies for that.
Just the records. And if I'm not mistaken, on the historical purposes, I believe I was appointed to replace a previous member as well. I believe, was it Mr. Chrisman, I believe? Do I have that historical understanding?
We'll ensure that the correct member that you replace is listed, and we'll double check that.
Thank you for that. Just for again, historical information.
Definitely.
Likewise. I think so it was same. I was thinking I was replacing Bob. I'm not sure.
I believe that you replaced Alexander, you replaced Bob.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's how that worked.
Okay.
Was that internal shift that might have
Internal shift.
thrown things off once the chairs were switched?
Walt replaced Sandy Freeman. That I do know. But I believe she let her term run out. So his was a 4-year.
Because I remember.
But we have all the history.
Okay.
Yep.
Because when I was appointed, I remember whosoever I replaced, they were having their term till June 2024.
Yeah, that's why, because elections normally were in May, and their terms ended in June, and now their elections are in November. Their
Oh, okay.
term ends in December, but your term still stays in June.
I see. Got you.
So in June, you can ask to be reappointed for 4 years.
Got it.
Yes, I'll double check the timelines in terms of what commissioners replaced who and make sure all names are spelled correctly.
Thank you.
Any other thoughts? All right. closing the annual report. Next on the agenda, the 2024 meeting schedule.
That is just a reminder. I do not believe you have any meetings for the rest of the year that are conflicted with holidays. You always meet the third Monday of the month, and I don't believe that there are any holidays on the third Monday of the month for the rest of the year.
No, just Juneteenth, I think. It affects the
It's on a Wednesday,
ARB. Okay,
affects
yeah.
the ARB.
okay. Yeah, because Memorial
As we
Days.
get closer to Thanksgiving, we can talk about your Thanksgiving schedule.
Okay.
That's just an information.
I don't think it should make a big difference, but I will not be able to attend the June 17th meeting.
Okay. All right. Moving on, the 1 Mile Review, Part 1.
Yes, for these two, I'll provide context about the 1 Mile Review, and then I've been notified some commissioners may have conflict of interest regarding one of these items. I will give them an opportunity to recuse themselves. Or is that the clerks? Okay. Generally speaking, we trust that Prince William County zoning and planning will do their job and do it well, in the sense that these subdivisions and other projects and special use permits will be reviewed thoroughly. For us, it's more just to provide commentary and general guidelines that may affect us. As an example, Old Carolina Overlook being close to roads that we in Haymarket use often, concern immediately goes to traffic as an example of that. So those kind of comments are what we want to look for tonight as well. Regarding this agenda item, if there's any that need to recuse themselves.
Yes, the members of the commission and town staff, I will need to recuse myself for this first one for Grayson Overlook, so thank you.
Great. With Grayson Overlook, the subdivision along Highway 29, it is mostly just single-family homes. What I've provided for you mostly involves road layouts, setbacks, those kind of things, with some design standards included as well. If the commission has any comments from what they have reviewed, I will write them down and provide them as town comments from staff and the commission.
So this will have direct access onto Old Carolina Road coming out of that community, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And with this traffic light already being an issue in the town and that being an increased traffic, I think it said a maximum of 218 homes to be built. That's a lot of traffic increase possibly coming up to this red light here. So it's just something to think about.
Definitely. I will add that to our comments.
Where on Old Carolina are we talking? Like,
North towards
like Piedmont?
Thoroughfare.
Where they're building a new church.
Yeah.
It's right, it's gonna be right behind that, where they're building that new church on the same side.
Up by like 7-Eleven?
No.
Right as you meet Lee Highway on Old Carolina, they're gonna build a church right there on that corner. This is the property right behind it.
Oh, right across from Wegmans, right there.
Yeah, come across if you're headed towards Lee Highway, it'll be on the left side, correct, right
Thoroughfare?
before.
Do you know Thoroughfare?
Yes.
It's almost across from Thoroughfare. Basically.
Okay.
There is, I think currently it's a farm. There is a farm there, if I'm not mistaken. right?
Yes.
So we're talking about traffic going into town, like going up the hill.
Exactly. If you were to route yourself away from Highway 29, it then goes directly into where we are in our jurisdiction,
Okay.
or at least on the periphery of it.
Do we know, I tried to look at this, improvements on Old Carolina, what improvements they're making in terms of road improvements? Do you-
I could look into outside old improvements, and I can mention that in the comments as well, that hopefully those are in congruence.
I think I saw in here that the county was categorizing Old Carolina as one type of road, and the developer or representative of the developer indicating that it's a different type that does not require addition of lanes and so forth. I think there's a back and forth between the developer and the county on that.
I think so they're providing turn lanes.
Say again, sorry.
I think so they're providing the turn lanes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Right. And page 74 has the location.
Yeah, and I mean, the county said that they were making Old Carolina a 4-lane, or if I'm not mistaken, there's a mention of a 4-lane in here.
I don't know how they do that. Because you're gonna have to,
Do what, eminent domain to expand the road?
yeah.
Not sure. The other concern I have is, of course, I don't know what school that area is zoned, but as we know, our local schools are over capacity, right? So I think that would be a concern that I would have personally. I don't know about others, but making things worse. in terms of
Definitely.
Capacity, yeah.
I'll write that down in consideration as well in our comments.
They're doing a contribution for schools for 3,282.
Yeah.
per-
What is that gonna do? It's not gonna build another school.
Yeah. No, it's per
Yeah.
single family, but yeah,
Probably it will offset the cost of additional trailers,
right.
based on what we know, but. Right,
But I had the same thought, it's a one-time payment, so I mean,
yeah.
it really doesn't do a whole lot.
yeah. See here.
Page 35 has the information about transpiration.
Yeah, and here it says, this is comments from the county. Old Carolina Road is planned as a 4-lane road. Right,
42?
yeah. The response from the applicant is the mobility chapter of the comprehensive plan designates Old Carolina Road as an RL-2, which is, I think, different than what the county's categorizing it as.
If the commission has no other comments, I'll
Yeah.
summarize as is. With the subdivision, concerns mostly revolve around, or comments to provide revolve around ensuring traffic measures are taken to, one, calculate the traffic, two, make sure it runs as efficiently as possible given the limitations we have on our infrastructure already. Making sure to designate any improvements to Old Carolina Road are matching, the definitions are matching on the county and the developer side, and consideration of how public schools are affected population via this development.
One thing I want to add, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
It's fine.
The improvements with Jefferson Street, I know it's one of our capital improvements down the road. Would that be considered maybe bumping that up if they're gonna, if this project goes through?
That is something to take into consideration. I do believe it would need to be brought up with the council, and ultimately it's their decision on how to prioritize it.
Right.
But that does bring up a good point.
Right. Okay.
Sorry, that was a spider.
Matt, I'll find a way to add that into the comments, and I'll make sure to bring that to town staff as well, so that we can talk to the council about that in prioritization of the CIP. Other than that, I have no other comments to provide for this review.
All right. So closing the 1 mile review part 1 and moving on to the 1 mile review part 2.
Great. Apologies for the sending of the extra information later than anticipated. I hope everyone got the email that I sent out with the special use permit packet. This particular special use permit, it's only in the first review with Prince William County. The reason it's a special use permit is in the comprehensive plan, that particular section of the interchange between I-66 and Highway 29 is zoned agriculture, which they would then rezone to more industrial use so that they can provide that power station and the substation to rewire power lines generally for general growth within Prince William County, potentially data centers as well. And if there are any comments regarding those, we're free to discuss now. And no recusal among commissioners, no conflict of interest? Okay.
That's correct.
It's not on here. He sent it via email.
Additional documents are on the email.
Yes, let me,
Yeah, I mean, personally, it's a, substation, right? There's, in terms of impact, I don't foresee any impact or concerns. Maybe. Yeah, maybe Thomas, if you can describe where it is going to be located
I
and
can do
maybe
that.
what it is in terms of a substation, maybe you can.
so the location of the substation will be the interchange between US Route 29 and Interstate 66 in the southwest corner. It borders the Gainesville Public Facilities District and the Brentsville Public Facilities District. The goal being to bridge most likely those two groupings of facilities and to ensure that power is distributed more evenly and more efficiently as this North or West Prince William County grows.
Okay. Am I correct? Is close to Flagship Car Wash, that area?
Yes.
Right? Okay. Where the current construction is basically data center construction, yeah.
Oh, off Cat Harpin there? Okay.
As part of one comment I will be issuing to the county, as Commissioner Bana mentioned, in the special use permit application, it was mentioned that the wires will be routed around the data centers, and it doesn't directly reference whether or not it is part of that larger project. So in my comment, I will send out clarification for what the usage of that substation, those kinds of things, especially considering all the growth and other reviews that are happening with those data centers.
Okay. You know where the,
It's also listed as Interstate 64 on the special
I
use
know, I
permit.
saw that.
So we'll make sure that we have our wayfinding correct on that as well.
what is the road over there called? Dave's Store? Is it Dave's something?
Yes.
Dave's Store.
And I think, Tom, to your point about the comments, you'll reach out for clarification of the routing and things like that. I do understand it's next to an existing substation and the interstate there, and perhaps it won't affect too much the kind of main gateway or entry into town via 55. Certainly we have the mountains in the distance, the hills. But the one thing I did note, just looking through there, I would appreciate any clarification in terms of the vegetation, the vegetative buffers around there, if they'll do enough to, and I think they should because it's pretty far back here with all the trees, but if they would do enough to sort of shield or protect that use from kind of the gateway approach. I know it's pretty far east of 55, they're on 29, but anything they can do to help with the vegetative buffers to help kind of, hide it or screen it from other viewpoints, especially, for our kind of gateway entry into our town. That would be my concern there. The only other concern I really had, because again, looking at traffic growth, things like that, obviously it's very low and minimal in many cases, would relate to, I noted on there, and again, I think this is probably for the county to look into, of course, but related to what, I guess there was some existing wetlands that were found there, very minimal amounts, I think generally less than an acre. And I know that they were talking of, I guess, wetland credit purchases to sort of offset the impact to those wetlands. So that would be my only other concern. I mean, that's more of a broader regional type concern, just to make sure it's proper course for that mitigation of the wetlands that are there. But again, the main commentary really has to do with the vegetative buffers. They can appropriately screen the use for those entering into our town as appropriate.
Great, I'll add those comments. Yeah, any other comments from the commission before we move forward?
This time. Because
I think so. I'm good.
Great, I'll provide those comments as well to the developer in the county.
Okay. All right, closing out agenda 1 mile review part 2 and moving on to old business.
Currently with old business, it's been quite a while, hasn't it? We are still working on comprehensive plan updates, which I'll provide in the coming months. Other zoning text amendments as necessary, and zoning map, other map updates. We're considering potentially using consultants as well to update the comprehensive plan. I will update you on what our final decision on that is as we discuss internally finances and those other items on that. Regarding any other old business, I do not have any at this time.
All right, moving on, new business.
As stated before, what we have discussed before, I will provide in coming months. An addition that we may be looking at is Chick-fil-A has applied for a special use permit to add a bypass to their drive-through window. And it's very specific dimensions in the parcel, which as I review for completeness, I will map it out. There's a section of the parcel that allows for one more lane, but it's a very tight dimension. And that is the main concern of the review, which we'll provide comments for. But going next, just adjacent to Chick-fil-A and that drive-through is the new Lifetime Smiles dentist office, which will be commencing construction very soon. And Obviously, the Virginia National Bank, there's potential conversation about rerouting traffic there. As I said, I'm reviewing that special use permit for completeness, and when ready, I'll present it to the Planning Commission. But other than that, I have no new business.
Okay. ARB updates. Did we have a meeting last month? Oh, it snowed. When was our last meeting? December? Yeah.
November, when you guys voted to deny the town park building.
Oh, the town part, yeah, yep. And then I did see a couple applications come across. We got our pretty lengthy agenda tomorrow. So, starting to fill our calendar up with, yeah, but that's it. I don't really have anything. Town council?
All right. I'm sure I'm going to be missing a lot of updates, but updates that are relevant to the Planning Commission here is that Town Council has started looking into priorities in terms of investments, strategic planning, what we should focus on. And the top three things that are on the to-do list are the town park, right? In addition to the building out the pavilion and the public restrooms, is to continue developing the entire park, either in line with the master plan that was put together many years ago, or part of the process that's being suggested is engaging the community and getting their input as to what they would like to go into the town park. So actually there is a community engagement charrette that's going to be part of this process. And then you've got the town center plan. As you all know, we did approve the site plan, right, for the town center plan. That's the next one of the three top priorities. And then identifying a public parking space within the town. So to give you an idea, these are some of the things that are planned in terms of strategic planning. You've got demolition of structure, where this is in reference to demolishing the old park building, construction of park sidewalk, design of pavilion and bathrooms, community engagement charrette, town park design and engineering, pavilion and bathroom construction. These have various timelines. I'm not sure if these timelines are realistic, but you've got hire a consultant for a parking study, identify land options for parking, public parking, design parking facilities, construct parking facilities, and construction exterior site plan improvements. This is in relation to the town center complex. And then town hall or administration site interior improvements. So these are to give you an idea of the things that are, high priority for the town council. And as you know, the ARB, as Kim indicated, denied the certificate of appropriateness for the demolition of the town park. And then the town council came back and made a final decision to demo the building through an appeal process. So we're going to move forward with demolishing the park building and in its place constructing a pavilion and public use bathrooms. But, I think that's all. Go
So
ahead.
do we have budget for all three things, or?
For the demolition, I know there is a RFP. I don't know if that's out yet, but finalized revision of RFP, so that RFP we'll find out once we get in some bids for that.
Okay.
Yeah, it's all going to be dependent on bids.
What's the main purpose of extending the parking? Is it for events or?
Having a
Public
public parking.
Okay.
Apparently there is a need for a public parking space for those who come, visitors of the town, those that are visiting, patrons of businesses and so forth that don't have sufficient parking space.
I see. Okay.
That's it.
Yeah, I know, with Truvi and, yeah, that might help a little bit with overflow. Because there's, on the weekends, that gets pretty crowded in there. Yeah. So I'm sure they'll be ecstatic hearing that they have an overflow parking. And it's pretty
Yeah.
close walking distance.
No, the challenge might be identifying a suitable land that the town can purchase right, to turn into a public parking space. And we talked about, there's one here by the music place here. There's one behind us, I believe.
Oh, I'm thinking by the park. I'm sorry. I'm not.
No.
I think there's enough
That's
space
space
by
in
the
the
park
park,
to have
no.
a public parking space up there.
Oh, okay.
They're looking more into the center of town.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But if this is something that we want to move forward with, and again, as we, in the future, I'm thinking this is going to be less of an option in terms of what is available. So I think the town might want to take action right now, right? Otherwise, they're going to be developed, right? Purchased and developed in the future.
This has been prolonged for a long time. Yeah, we need to act on it.
Yeah.
And you mentioned there'd be a parking consultant performing the parking study before the next stage of the decisions, is that correct?
Yes, that's part of the process, yes.
Okay.
We've got a hire consultant for parking study.
And how many parking spaces we are looking for?
That is to be.
That's what they would say.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm hoping that their study would be robust to say the required parking and recommendations is needed. It's an interesting topic because, other small towns similar to ours, not necessarily, but they may have, on-street parking. Certainly Washington Street's right-of-way is a little bit limited in that regard. So the question is where to provide otherwise, aside from some of these private businesses that, as you know, there's those restrictions in place. So it'll be very interesting to see what the next steps are in that process.
All right. Any other?
No, that's it.
Tom, I just have. Is it tomorrow? Planet Fitness opens up. What's that?
Not heard that.
We haven't heard that. Oh, I keep hearing.
I think yesterday or the day before yesterday, I saw the trash bin still out there, so I'm not sure.
Oh,
if they
so
can
it's
get it.
still.
There's still inspections with the county going on.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's all I have.
Once we get an update, though, it's still inspections via Prince William County that are holding it back. But once we get updates, we'll let you all know and the public.
Yeah. No. People were asking me, and I had heard the third week of February, but I wasn't. Yeah.
Why join? Further online, and the original open date was supposed to be February 23rd.
Okay.
When I got notification that that's what they were shooting to open.
And then they pushed it back.
February 23rd, but they're still waiting on permitting approval from the county.
Wow.
Do they still have their $10 a month with $1
Yep.
some
Yep.
deal going on? Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Regarding the on-street parking on Washington Street, can we not think about that near the church area? Like, because we have a wider road with shoulders to have parking on sides.
Yeah, that's going to be very limited, though.
Yeah.
Right. Very few. If we can make
Maybe
it work.
20 to 40 cars, depending on if we have on both sides. At least on one side we have it. Providing on-street parking on Washington Street.
Where,
Near the church area, near the park.
That's something we can discuss internally and also at the council level.
Because that's a good idea when we look at other towns, small towns, they have a street parking. And if we don't have area, because this is almost going to be low budget as compared to finding a land and having building a parking space there. And distance-wise also it works well.
Did we even, yeah, that's a good point. Did we consider that when we are, you know, in terms of what we plan on doing on the park sidewalk and everything? Did we?
Right now, the park sidewalk plan only involves a pedestrian crosswalk. That's the only,
Okay. But the
Road
sidewalk
related.
to go to Blight, all the way to Blight, is it?
yes. Nothing regarding on-street parking, though.
That wasn't start off, okay.
But that'd be something to look at the council level.
Anything else? Anybody? All right, do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
All right. Second?
I'll second the motion to adjourn.
All right, we're meeting adjourned.